number 3 in the standings, which does help quite a bit. But let's take it into the draft right here. Bangbush trying to go and secure the 2nd seed if at all possible.
I'm sorry to ruin the excitement of the outcome, but I think it doesn't matter if you are seed number 2 or 3.
Ah, I see. What is it? Is it just basically the exact same?
I think it's seed 2, number 2 against 3 once we're at the LAN.
Ah, so it's literally the exact same.
Unless the number 1 seed, like I'm not sure how the rules are, but unless the number 1 seed would get the chance to choose between number 3 and 4, then it would matter quite a lot. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
still, very interesting match. I'm really looking forward to it. Worth mentioning, though, is that Oxygen is going to play with 2 subs. Benny is out and Yasuo are out, and in are Rutsu and Ixia. And Ixia, I'm assuming you don't know who that is.
Oh no, he's offlane god. The guy always has like ridiculously high win rates on ladder. I am familiar.
Yeah, I mean he has high win rates on like very unique heroes, Zarya, Probius, Brightwing before she became meta.
W-build
his
Diva
pool is very unique. Diva before the rework. I mean, you also see already the Zarya being banned out, which makes sense considering there's Ixia and Rutsu on the side of Oxygen. And they opted for the HANZO first pick on Shrines.
HANZO first pick by Hasuabs right here. And I gotta say, I don't put it past a team coached by Cavalier Guest to pick D.Va on the Infernal Shrines right here. Not saying it's a guarantee, especially because Hogger's available, but there's going to be a Hogger pick Swamp Garota. We've yet to see a Tychus today. Wouldn't surprise me, though. This is a strong Tychus map, as well as being against the Hogger. Might see the counter pick right there. Bishops, of course, picking Sylve. Always a strong DPS that can fit into virtually any composition in the entire game, as well as being strong whenever you can expect to push with the objective. We'll see what Oxygen responds with right here.
They are going for the Dehaka and Lucio. Now, Dehaka is kind of the offlane left that you can choose, considering Hogger is already picked up by Bangbush and they banned the Blaze themselves. Like Leoric was still in and Yrel, but I mean Dehaka, you can't go wrong. And they paired up with Lucio.
Lucio, a strong healer in general, going to be played by Ixer right here, assuming we don't see any trades coming out. And of course, anytime you're talking about Oxygen Esports, Hammer is at least on the table. The members of Oxygen believe Hammer is ridiculously strong right now, and Nick, known for spamming it on ladder, not going to be given the option here in this first game of the series. Diablo being banned away. To me, that indicates no Tychus pick for Oxygen if they're banning out that Diablo, but we will see. What's up, Dynouh?
Yeah, the Diablo ban is honestly very odd. I think Oxygen would have loved to pick Diablo themselves. They have HANZO to pair it up with already, and it plays well into Dehaka whenever he burrows in. Diablo, fantastic tank to like follow in deep, and also they have the Lucio themselves to get the Diablo out of sticky situations or play aggressive with it, but they have to ban it. And Bangbush get the Rhaegon Varian. Varian into Lucio. Lauber's brave. That's all I can say.
What is that? Lauber what?
Is brave.
Ah, I see.
Like I'm not sure how this will work. I mean, Varian also brings the spell power banner and the level 20 banner. Kind of functions as a double support, and double support always fundamentally kind of good into Lucio. So I see that angle, but I'm not sure how great that is going to work out. As we see Oxygen get end in May.
I did find the Varian pick a little bit surprising as well. I think also you got to worry about the person getting high-fived that you taunt as well. Just getting booped out of everything. Is it Dynouh Skoog? That's what I've been saying. Am I just murdering it? What do we?
No, we always say Skoog.
Skoog. Okay, perfect as well. That's never what I would go for when reading it, but that's what people say. Skoog gonna be playing the Maiev this game. And Skug. Scoff. It's like enough how it ends with GH. Scoff.
Ixia playing the tank, May.
I find this draft to be a little bit strange, honestly. Not heroes that I am super accustomed to seeing. May, in particular, Dynouh, I'm struggling to figure out what May's contribution to this draft is exactly supposed to be for Oxygen. Admittedly, I feel I don't understand May to a super high level. Can you help illuminate this for me about what Oxygen might be expecting here?
So May is a unique hero that, like, as a tank, she has really good stats. You can actually brawl with her, and I guess you can somewhat dive with Genji. You can blind the Maef tether. You can dodge the pull itself by your own ice block, so you can play rather far up. You can dodge the mind control. I mean, in a sense, she's a very safe tank, but you already have the Lucio with it. So I'm not too. I'm thinking more just a comfort pick for Ixia, because Ixia has to play tank, and I don't think I've seen him on any other tank, but maybe Blaze, but he was banned out.
That could also make a lot of sense as well. I'm not sure what Lawver is typing here, but okay. And now, for our left side team here, for Bangbush, we're going to see Swamp Grota on the Hogger, Skoog playing the Maiev, Lobber on Varian, Heading going to be on Rehgar, and Bishop's going to be playing that Sylvanas. Who do we have for Oxygen, Dynouh?
On Oxygen, we have HANZO and Genji, but hold on, there's a fight in Lauber. 19 seconds. It took 19 seconds, my friend, and he got first blooded.
We thought last game against Inting for Ruby, Masters Clash Academy was speedrunning the first bloods, but no, it's actually Oxygen just absolutely gunning Lauber down in that mid lane.
So continuing, we have HANZO on HANZO, Ixia on the Mei, Rutsu on Lucio, and on the offlane we have Copenhagen on DHK. Nick gets ganked upon on, but almost gets out by a slimmer of health.
And now Ixer able to pop that ice block as well. I want to say it's called like Cryo Freeze, right? Yeah, Cryo Freeze as well. You don't cast a Mei every day, okay, chat? I just want to make sure I've got the abilities right. As now we see Bangbush over here taking the first siege camp of the game. Ixer gonna be isolated a bit, walking into their own blizzard. Ixer will fall, evening up the kill count between these two teams, 1-1 between them. And now coming off that kill, easily going to be a decision to take this bottom neutral camp for the side of Bangbush. They know that without their main tank, Oxygen has no hope of contesting this. Hasuab's getting a little bit of poke damage right there. He's trying to progress that target practice that he has at level 1, not able to find it. Natural agility's right on out of there.
So Ixia just complete disrespect. I don't even think he had his E up while he went for the invade, and while it looks good into a Varian before level 4 that you invaded him, if you look at the rest of the format, they have Sylvanas, Maiev, and Rehgar. They're absolute powerhouses in the early game, but they go for a ton of the HANZO ops. The tether as well connects. The pull, however, does not go through it. Oh my god. HANZO
8 health!
That was way too close. But I mean, 8 HP, basically the same as dead. Bangbush go for a camp here.
Knowing that yet again they have a number advantage after forcing HANZO to Hearth out back to base, they easily go for the invade on Oxygen's camp. And we see Bangbush with the rare capture of all 3 of the starting siege camps. Both teams now taking their own bruiser camp in the meantime. And some strong patience being exhibited earlier in that bot side rotation on to when we saw, was it Hasuab stepping up closer to the bush. Ixer now looking for the rotation onto Swamp Grota, is actually able to set up the blizzard onto him. Gonna drop him below half HP. There's the taunt coming out to Ixer. Ixer will fall for the second time this game, comprising all of Bangbush's 2 kills in the moment, and Bangbush now stepping up to this objective off of the kill.
Another huge disrespect by Oxygen, completely disregarding the absolute powerhouse picks that Bangbush have. Like the high five, for example, only really is a thing at level 10, so before that you don't really have access to it, and to be honest, if you look at the rest of the heroes, Hanzo, Genji, they're all like powerhouses at level 10. Whereas Maiev, Sylvanas, and Rhaegar, they bring so much power, like, all the time before already as well.
Able to pick up those early kills. Hasuab's trying to get some damage onto Swamp Grota, interfering with his ability to just infinitely spin forever. But with the advantage coming off that kill earlier, Bangbush easily able to secure this first objective of the game. Level 7's now coming online for Oxygen Esports right here. Bangbush getting ready to push bottom with Sylvanas, one of the strongest push heroes in the game.
And not just strong push heroes, but also Maiev and Varian, both angry and looking for kills. The Mei gets jumped on, however, nothing much happens. Not too much damage going through. And now they're looking for a re-engage. The Haka burrowed in.
Oh, Copenhagen able to land the tongue onto Rhaegar. Will find the kill for the members of Oxygen Esports, evening up the kill count 2-2 between them. Punisher about to finish off bottom fort. Oxygen would love to preserve it. No, not going to be able to do so. Bottom fort of Oxygen will fall. Bangbush immediately falling back to their own siege camp right here. Maiev utilizing Naisha's memento to help her clear that out faster, while Lauber zones able to find it, and already a top lane push from Bishops as well.
Have you perhaps seen the CCL game between Storm and Chili Mountain on Infernal Shrines?
It's not ringing any bells just off the top as you say it.
Okay, basically what happened is, hold on, the stun onto Lucio. Okay, so Storm got the first shrine. They managed to push in the bot fort. However, the Haka ducked in and got 2 kills. But while the right side team lost the fort and got 2 kills, they're still 1 level behind, and basically it's the exact same game. What strikes funny to me is that in Storm you have Lauber and Swamp that are also playing now in Bangbush. They know exactly this map state, so I'm curious to see if they are going to be cleaner this time around, because in CCL they managed to lose that game.
Copenhagen now coming up to help defend against this topside push. Level 10 advantage secured for the members of Bangbush. And so far, a significant siege pressure advantage as well. However, note that next objective, the second objective of the game, will be in mid. Oxygen still doesn't have 10 as they aggress forward into here. Lucio face-checking the bush directly into the hands of Lauber. Will set up a pick for Bangbush now. Level 10s have been achieved for Oxygen. Dragon Arrow for the peel lands onto 3 members of Bangbush. We see the Dragon Blade coming out from Genji. Ice Wall not going to hit anybody, however. Hans now dropping very, very low, starting to back on out and get over to the side lane. Hans gonna blade dash out. He's gonna be okay. Oxygen not able to find anything here, and Bangbush still looking mighty healthy, setting up to take their second fort of the game.
And while all of that is going on, look at Maiev in bot lane already working on the wall, getting 1 tower of the keep. Just a massive advantage that is Bangbush working up so far. And now there's also the camp up, Maiev looking on it, and yeah, mid lane is going to be the next target for the next few minutes.
Now Bangbush setting up for mid. They would love to take this fort, as this is where the second objective will be. They would love to prevent Oxygen from taking their healing fountains and push the objective onto the keep. But with second objective coming so soon, it's not going to happen just quite yet. Now the members of both teams falling back to their bruiser camps right here, seeking to have them push during the objective. And level 13 advantage, also something that both teams got to be thinking about as Bangbush starts to approach that threshold.
So, looking at this from a player's perspective, I'm assuming Oxygen can't really play this objective at all. Like, playing the shrine itself is just hard into Hogger. Hogger is in complete control, and he's not really gankable or killable either. So I like that in the meantime the Haka is just bot and they decide to somewhat split the map. Obviously still playing the shrine for a little bit, so they force them to be mid, so the Haka is at least isolated while Ixia is getting gone on. High five way too soon! Who still goes through the arrows, hits some targets, the Haka forced to burrow in. Awkward fight so far. But
Ooh,
the
the
kill still...
wallbang coming out from Swamp Grota, gonna take out Mei. Meanwhile, Genji trying to use the Dragon Blade, but will start to use it for mobility on the escape. Hans trying to survive. Bishop's looking for the finish, not quite having enough damage to finish it off. 13 advantage still being enjoyed by the members of Bangbush, sending Nick back home to base, licking his wounds a bit, trying to catch back up. Copenhagen now going to step over and clear at that top bruisers, and massive advantage just over and over and over. Bangbush consistently, so far, looking ahead at nearly every moment of this game and looking in control of the macro all the way from first camp into right now. And look at this. Bangbush is going to have 2 camps pushing simultaneously in addition to the Punisher. This pressure is about to be huge.
Nick gets the Punisher to jump for free as of now, and they get to damage the Punisher for a little bit, but now Sylvanas arrives, disables the fort, and they're going for the dive. Copen gets gone on, however, does not to lose too much HP. The Punisher jumps onto the Hanzo, half HP on him. Disc onto the Mei. Okay, it seems like no one is falling, however, the fort just falls in the meantime. Oxygen out of control. I don't think they have any... What's the word? Like, what do they do?
Oxygen looking for a way to get back into this game. Swamp Grota getting a spin through Ixer. He will, of course, have that pummel debuffing multiple members of Oxygen. And now the response from Bangbush. Both teams are on equal talent tiers here. Varian completing that Lion's Fang quest at level 1. Still, Disc just barely not landing onto Rootsal by the members of Bangbush. They would have loved to find that if at all possible. Now Copenhagen falling down to that bottom lane, looking for the side push. Meanwhile, knowing that they have a temporary number advantage, Bangbush getting a bit of pressure onto this top fort, and we're going to see a taunt onto Genji. Will get high-fived right away. Copenhagen landing the tongue onto Rehgar in the back, pulling him into the Dragon Arrow. What a play! Oxygen getting some kills. 16 still not secured for Bangbush. Nick stepping up, looking for the Dragon Blade. Will be able to finish off Swamp Grota. Lauber trying to get Nick, not able to find him. And what an unfortunate time to take a fight at roughly 15.9 for the members of Bangbush, allowing Oxygen to just get a triple kill and get back in this game.
But what is Bangbush doing up there? All for no clear reason. All they had to do was just wait for the Punisher and wait for the side lanes to get value. They don't have to look at all. Just disengage and you can chill. I was gonna argue that Oxygen without Benny, it feels like they don't have a shot caller or like a certain plan. But I guess the plan works where you just right-click onto your opponent and you just force a fight. Yeah, and honestly, that is what they have to do at this point of the game. Like now they can't just play it slow, handshake certain traits. Like they have to be creative and look for engages wherever they can.
Level 16's about to be achieved for Oxygen, who certainly are applying the pressure. Skoog missing another containment disc, just like on the Bruiser camp a moment ago. Now Ixer looking for what they can. Copenhagen is lurking in the bush, being very careful not to show out of that bush. 16's now picked up by the members of Oxygen Esports, all having locked in. There's Copenhagen now getting scouted out by Skoog. The members of Bangbush are fully aware of what's happening. Starting on this bottom siege camp, Ixer scouting it out though. Looking at Lauber, zoning him out. Copenhagen not able to find the tongue. Oxygen content to just take the siege camp. There is a banner being used by Varian. It will not do much, and it looks like it's just going to be over there for a while. Bangbush now able to cap their own siege camp here in mid lane. Rootsau is nearby, not able to find anything. Nick on the Bruiser camp for Oxygen, leading into this next objective. No similar capture of the Bruiser camp for Bangbush. However, they will have mid-siege camp pushing down, and if it can make it all the way over here, it will pressure onto the keep of Oxygen. So Oxygen certainly on a bit of a timer to make things happen before getting too much pressure onto their side lanes.
Yeah, Oxygen, it almost looked good that the moment the shrine was about to spawn, that they had every lane pushed out, but as it turns out, they went to the hard camp, basically leaving the lanes, and so Bangbush just gets control of every lane back. And now we see that Oxygen is like kind of forced to overcommit onto one call. They send 4 people top, And now they're too late for the bottom play, and top lane Hogger can still take over the Hanzo on the shrine. All Bangbush now have to do is get away, but however, Rega got caught in the ice wall, into the blizzard as well. Genji, the D-Blade, has the damage to connect, and they get a kill.
Ooh, Skoog trying to use that Shade of Vengeance will not teleport to it, meaning that he is unfortunately very deeply caught into the territory of Oxygen. Bangbush would have loved to finish off that keep if at all possible, especially with this mid push pressure, taking out this keep roughly to about half HP down, not quite all the way. Meanwhile, Swamp Grota just now picking up the first Shrine Guardians for Bangbush the entire time. Still about a full level lead in favor of Bangbush right now, but they recognize that this objective is at this point completely in the hands of Oxygen Esports. Bangbush now starting to fall back towards their own side of the map. Swamp Grota not looking at Bruisers, fully cognizant of the fact that Oxygen can step up for the aggressive invade. Ixer, thinking about it, does decide to go for the invade onto the Bruiser camp of Bangbush.
And all I can say is just absolute blunder by Bangbush. I loved what they did with macro, like forcing Oxygen on a bad call. However, when they mis-executed, Rega somehow gets caught, even though he's the one person that is supposed to be the one saving the others, which, if you look at Sylvanas and Maef, are more than easy to get out of any sticky situation. So really, just a huge blunder by Henning, I guess. While they wait over the Punisher, and they probably just get a free clear without losing too much besides the fort.
Your Punisher dropping very, very low. Wall taking a lot of damage for Bangbush. Bangbush is going to be the first team to hit level 20 out of these two, unless something drastic happens. Now, Oxygen, aware of what is around the corner, is starting to back out right here, just looking to get their own 20. Nick getting a bit of deflect shield at the moment. I wonder, what's that about? Is he stacking Zanshin?
He's stacking his fort talent.
Oh, Dragon Claw. I was about to say, I was like, why would you do that? No, it makes perfect sense. I wasn't thinking about Dragon Claw, because back in my day, we didn't see Dragon Claw being picked for Genji players in the HGC era, and that's when Genji was like super, super meta. So that's always like it's always just sort of been like Dragon Claw is not pickable in my mind, because that's what we saw during HGC, and now, just with that level 20 advantage, Bangbush easily able to step up and finish off the very heavily damaged Oxygen keep. Now heading back towards this siege camp on the bottom side of the map. Oxygen has secured level 20s, so all talents of the game have now been picked at this point. Oxygen stepping forward in this mid lane as Bangbush wants to find this last camp if they can.
So the last, or like, not necessarily last, but this Punisher is going to spawn in the bot lane, which might just be a curse for the side of Bangbush. Like, I mean, you can argue either case, like if Bangbush gets this Punisher, they can push right into the core with it. But on the other hand, that is the lane where they have the catapult pressure on. That's where the map state is supposed to be in favor for them. And if that is the lane where the Punisher spawns in, that just means that Oxygen, all they have to do is, when they play for the objective, that they have to the bot lane in control, and they don't have to worry about any time at all, because there are no catapults threat on top lane, and on mid lane they still have their keep, so they have a lot more time to play with.
Bangbush stepping up very aggressively deep into Oxygen's territory right there, not able to turn it into any picks or anything. Hasu is still weary though, looking for anything, trying to see if they can scout him out, but Bangbush stepping out way down onto the bot side jungle. At the moment, neither team running into each other. Gonna still see Swamp Grota actually sneaking all the way into this bot side bush. Will be followed up by the members of Bangbush. No bruiser capture yet for the members of Oxygen. They want to delay this camp there. It's going to be right there, taken in by Nick. Bangbush, with their patience, not able to find anything. Oxygen playing this with discipline, not going to face check anything right there. Will kill off this banner right here with some help, some DPS from Rutzo. And now Bangbush, they do have the advantage of already being established in these bushes for this next objective.
Now Oxygen will have an awkward time trying to get control of the point. Hogger already found the spin angle. But however, I mean, Hanzo now this late in the game. Oh yeah, this arrow into the Maef. Drag connects as well. What the free kill? Ice Wall connects on 2 targets as well. Henning is in it. He will just, however, work out. The silence arrow is big. The spin, however, stopped. Could have been an interesting re-engage angle for the Bang Bush side, but... Man, that's awkward. Might have died. It's a 4v5. And on top of that, they're bleeding on top lane because of the hard camp by Oxygen.
Oxygen looked certainly quite rough in the early and mid game, but it's been a totally different experience though. Hold on a second.
Wait,
Ixer jumped in while very low HP. Copenhagen is next to fall, and just as I was saying they looked great, all of a sudden Oxygen just crumbling at the speed of light. Now Hasuab's trying to finish off this objective. They only need 2 more. Nick is able to grab it for Oxygen thanks to the blade dash. Nick trying to get on out of there, deflect as well, blocking a bit of damage, is going to get finished off, but with 4 members of Oxygen dead, all Bang Bush needs to do is simply walk up and kill the core. Hasuab's able to natural agility right on out of there. And we do indeed see Maiev respawning, now coming back in. Dragon Arrow hits 2 members on the side of Bang Bush. Hasuab's trying to defend, but just by himself, there's only so much he can do. Lauber now gets the taunt. Ooh, Hasuab's actually able to jump the wall perfectly in time with the taunt, but it's still not going to be enough. Bang Bush taking game number 1 over Oxygen Esports.
The mechanics of Hogger just... He found the E angle, hands off keyboard, finds the kill on Ixia and the kill on the Haka on Copen. I mean, very awkward fight, very scrappy. In fact, I think Oxygen was ahead, given they got a kill and they got the top keep of the hard camp.
Yeah, that was undeniably an Oxygen advantage situation. And then just out of nowhere, I see the Mei go in while having no HP. And then Mei just gets popped. Copenhagen, while looking for the flank, also got popped at the same time. It was a valiant effort by Nick and by Hasuabs to try and finish off the objective as well, because they knew, hey, if they get that objective, if we give this one up, it's just game. So they tried to get it, but just went down right there. Well played in the late game by the members of Bang Bush, picking up game number 1 in this series. Very well done. We've got the scoreboard for you right here.
Yeah, so Ixia has the level 20 ice block usage when you drop down to 1 HP that it procs automatically, or like a different entity of it, like you still have your own cooldown of it. I'm not sure if he thought he was fine just walking in and having it procced, but I mean, I think that's just a huge blunder. You shouldn't force it to get procced for, I don't know, bait. Like, I'm not sure what went through his head. It was baiting or... But yeah, he basically gave his life for nothing, and... Yeah. But I like how the game kind of went as expected. Like, you would expect the early game should be in favor of Bang Bush, then mid to late should in theory be in favor of Oxygen if it comes to the team fighting, and because you have the Haka with the global. With Lucio, like, you just control every rotation. But yeah, because you're behind in structures, the time windows in which you can do that are just so much harder. So really, like, I'm happy we saw a good game. All things considered.
It was a very solid game there by the members of Bang Bush here versus Oxygen. Well done. I'm seeing we do not have a lobby number 2 going up just quite yet. And the Varian looked pretty solid this game overall. You know, we were skeptical of the Varian in the drafts, but I don't think there was any moment in time throughout that game where Varian looked super hard countered or anything like that. He was honestly getting pretty good value.
The Varian was a pick in the 3-4 with Rhaegar, I believe. And the enemies spotted Oxygen have HANZO, Lucio, the Haka.
I know Genji was not picked yet. Genji was after the Varian for sure.
And I'm assuming Mei wasn't picked yet either.
May and Genji were their last 2 picks.
Yeah, and I think that is what made Varian look good, because Genji and Mei are... I'm a bit like, I have the same issue as you. Like, I'm not quite sure where to put her. I assume it was just a comfort pick by Ixia, and it didn't work that well. And Genji is like, it's awkward, right? Because into Varian, if you want to bully him, you need hero. Like ideally, I think you want a mage. Something like Jaina comes to mind, but most certainly not Genji. You can't really hit him. You can't threaten the Varian itself. So Varian was actually free to step up and look for the taunts without being contested, and enabling like your own Sylvanas so much more. And I mean, they also had the last pick, and they thought, yo, Maiev just completely claps them, which we totally saw her doing.
I almost wonder, you mentioned the hero pool of Ixer specifically. You said the only two tanks you've seen Ixer play are Blaze and Mei. And so with Blaze banned out, I almost wonder if the Varian was in anticipation of the Mei. We did see the Shattering Throw being picked up by Varian, where its primary usage that game was to shred through the ice block of Mei. And so you said, you know, Mei trying to use that level 20 cryo freeze in the middle of the enemy team, but I think that's just not that effective if the enemy team has a Shattering Throw Varian, the hero specifically designed to just completely invalidate Mei's passive. But we do know what the draft, or rather what the map will be for our final game of the day, folks. In our last game of the final series today here Saturday, Bangbush versus Oxygen Esports. It's going to be played on Cursed Hollow. Cursed Hollow was chosen by the members of Bangbush, Oxygen taking first pick after that loss right there in game number 1.
So I'm surprised that Bangbush went for Cursed Hollow. Because, I mean, if you think to Lauba, he's not really known to play macro. He wants to play aggressive, but I guess you can still play aggressive on a map like that.
Certainly, but it's definitely... It doesn't give you the same kind of natural in-lane rotational kill opportunities at the same frequency as what you might see on Infernal Shrines or Tomb of the Spider Queen or Dragonshire, similar maps where there's a lot of movement in relatively tight spaces early on in the game right here. Regardless, waiting on the go-ahead from Oxygen, we have Bangbush ready to go. Oxygen needs a moment to mull it over as we wait for the final game of the day. As Dynouh informed me of earlier, these matches are a little strange in that they're between the second place and third place teams, and the seeding doesn't change much. So to an extent, like if you get second or third place, it literally changes nothing about where you are in the playoffs, specifically in the finale. So I almost wonder, Dynouh, as we're in this, how much of this series is simply teams wanting to hide their strats and not show too much in games that ultimately don't have any real bearing on the playoffs?
So Oxygen is doing that naturally already anyway, because Benny and Yasuo aren't playing, especially Benny. Not having him, like, he's a drafter, he's a shot caller. Not having him surely makes the team an entirely different team. Whereas Bangbush, I'm assuming they're just playing, they're treating it as a scrim. Obviously they want to win. They want to learn something from these games. I mean, no matter if you're hiding or not, you get a lot from these games. But yeah, from Oxygen side, they're most certainly not showing their true power.
This isn't even Oxygen's final form. Right here, coming into this game, of course, the Zarya ban, to an extent, Zarya's just going to get banned out because who Oxygen has playing for them this series, with specifically their two subs, Rutzo and Ixer, both famed Zarya players. It's going to get banned out. But I also just want to talk about Zarya in particular on Cursed Hollow. You have long-range poke on the objective with your grenade. You have boss control with your expulsion zone, and you also have stellar damage and ability to push with said boss after having secured it. So the Zarya ban makes a lot of sense to me as well. Oxygen gonna go ahead and first pick Hanzo a second time in the series, just like they did in game number 1.
When you're making Zarya sound like she's really OP on Curse, and honestly, with the things you've listed out, you might actually be onto something. I'm gonna write that down. On the side of Bangbush, we see Daka and Sylvanas, both fantastic picks, especially together, because whenever you see the enemy is out of position, be it at the fort, but only as 3, then you can disable it with Sylvanas, dig behind with Daka, and just force it right away.
Daka, global pressure always going to be a concern when you're playing on a map as large as Cursed Hollow.
Yeah, obviously. Brightwing and Hogger from Oxygen. Hogger, fantastic to do the camps fast. Also hard to gank, kind of a lane bully as well. I'm pretty sure he wins 1v1 against a lot of heroes. And to have Brightwing on top of that. Yeah, just like this time, Oxygen early game a lot better. If you compare to Enshrines, what they had until up to the point, they couldn't play for the first 9 levels, but now they can already play from level 1, which is good. That's probably easier for them to play as well.
Indeed, and now with the Genji banned away, Nick did play it last game, not wanting to run into it again right here. Genji, of course, able to stall rotations so effectively, and specifically shred apart the squishy health pool of Sylvanas. Not going to want to deal with that. Rehgar banned out by the members of Oxygen Esports as we wait for Bangbush to show us what they're going to pick next. I wonder just, Rehgar specifically, is that just a general testament to the strength of Rehgar? Do you think that Rehgar has some secret sauce in this draft specifically? What's going on there, Dynouh?
Now, Rehgar is just, I mean, Henning is kind of an Rehgar OTP on one hand. The other hand, more to it is Rehgar just does the camps fast. Like so far, Sylvanas Daka are not really known for doing camps. It would also empower the Diablo pick in case they go for it, which they still did, but now they don't have Ancestral Wrath with it. Ancestral Healing.
Speaking of
and
Wrath,
also the cleanse is like really, really good against the Hanzo arrow.
It is true as well. Rehgar doesn't have the super low CD cleanse anymore, but does have cleanse, of course, baseline. And then we're going to see another DPS Imperius right here. Main tank Blaze coming out from Rutzo. Hans on the DPS. I gotta say, it's an interesting draft right here for certain. I almost wonder, though, I look at these drafts right here between these two teams, and I feel like the raw push pressure of Bangbush is going to be a lot for Oxygen to deal with, especially the split push pressure of those globals in the side lanes. Do you think that's a valid concern, Dynouh, or how do you think this is going to play out?
Now, it is a valid concern. It is not it's not an issue because they actually have the tools to deal with it. Like like all of the heroes, Hanzo, Hogger, Blaze, Imperius are fantastic at 1v1ing, at playing a lane, at not getting ganked or getting ganked or like enabling ganks. Paired that up with Brightwing. Whereas on the other hand, they can only really, like Sylvanas, Karazim, if you look at these heroes, they can only push if they can like man up. Whereas Hogger and Blaze, they can poke the wall. So I would argue the others, like the side of Oxygen's early game is actually stronger.
Okay. Alrighty, let's go ahead and pop on into here. Final game of the day. One last game left in our final series, Bangbush versus Oxygen. Of course, after this, we will come back at the same time tomorrow for the final series in total. This is the final weekend of group stage. After this is going to be the Gauntlet. And for those of you who are unaware of how the Gauntlet works, the lowest rated team faces off against the next highest rated team. Whoever wins that goes off against the next highest, and so forth, until only one team makes it through, and that team will go to LAN for top 4, which will be played in July. But coming into this series right here, for the side of Bangbush, we have Lauber on Diablo, Skoog gonna be playing Falstead, Henning on that Karazim, Swamp on Dehaka, and Bishop's going to be playing Sylvanas, already starting a bit of that side pressure right here. I'm going to go ahead and make this nice and easy for you, Dynouh. Who do we have for Oxygen?
So on Oxygen, we have Rutsu playing the Brightwing. Kopen plays the Hogger. Blaze is being played by Ixia. Hazuops on his known Hanzo, just like last game. And Nick on Imperius.
Alrighty, I figured it's easier because this is such a large map and everybody's so split. I might as well just open up the scoreboard in here. Bangbush, Lauber taking a significant amount of fort shots already, or rather tower shots as they're pushing up. Blaze now with the rotation towards topside. Ixer looking for what he can find. Lauber with a very early usage of the healing fountain. Nobody on the camps just quite yet. Copenhagen starting to walk towards bruisers. Ixer watching the rotation to scout for any potential invade, but it's actually onto mid, where we see the CC chain coming out onto right wing. Well done by Bangbush to pick up a very early first blood. And this feels like a permanent feature of these games so far, is people dying a minute into the games. Oh!
Yeah, and while Lauber finds HANZO mid-air, riding Z, couldn't quite connect in time. Very, very bloodthirsty games in Masters Clash that we're having. I wanna point out, by the way, that Blaze is played by Ixir, so that is the other tank that he could play, or like the other hero. Rutsu gets ganged up again by Diablo. Q, E, and right-click damage is enough for the Brightwing. Sad.
Two quick deaths being picked up by Brightwing here against Bangbush. Bangbush finding whatever they want. A successful kill on mid, a kill on bot, come back mid, get another kill. Ixer now rotating onto Falstad. Jet propulsion just not going to land right there. Close but no cigar, not able to find it. Bangbush now backing off toward their bruiser camp, looking to get out their first camp of the game. Meanwhile, Oxygen already having taken both of their own mercenary camps as well on their side of the map. Ixer now rotating in towards mid, sitting just out of vision. Gonna hover around for a bit. Ixer healing himself, but not able to find anything. Meanwhile, Skoog on the Siege Giant camp as Karazim and Sylvanish finish off the bruisers for Bangbush. Meanwhile, Copenhagen simply defending his Siege Giants, not gonna let Svamp Grota get too much in the way of defense. Of course, Svamp Grota doing the classic Dahaka technique of tonguing the Giant underneath your own tower, and here's Bishops looking for the gank on Copen.
Yeah, Svamp is trying to play it cool, baiting, doesn't quite get the unburrow into the tongue combo. May I get the opportunity to flame a little bit?
Oh, dude, flame away, flame away.
Oh, okay. So, in order to respect to Ixia, you also highlighted earlier that he's an insane data player. However, I think here you can see a little bit of lack of experience, I guess, or I don't know, lack of wanting to carry yourself, because Ixia is a fantastic support player, supporting his teammates, but here in this game, what he could do in Blaze is actually quite a lot in the early game, chipping down at the walls, and like, I mean, he's kind of the tankiest play hero in this game, so he should be looking to enable his teammates to do stuff, but as of now, he's like very reserved. He's going talents that only make him tankier, but slower on the map. So he just kind of gets nothing done, while we see Diablo getting ganked on. Hogger finds a massive stun. The spin, however, doesn't quite get him out. The massive shove! No, spear. But Nick, in 5 people alone, however, and dies. While Blaze is rotating down.
I don't see a Stukov anywhere.
That's not a Schlong is how we say it in Europe.
Ah, I see. Lauber now starting to back off from Oxygen. Oxygen able to pick this objective up despite being down a person. Svamp Grota catching Copenhagen on the rotation, does land the tongue, but does not look for significantly more. Oxygen's mid fort has fallen thanks to the split pressure from the Falstad. Bangbush so far leading in the early game in both games by quite a significant margin here versus Oxygen, but remember Oxygen playing with 2 subs and missing their main drafter and shot caller. Bad Benny apparently busy. I'm not sure of the full details about it, as we see a top lane push with Bishop starting to form up right here. Oxygen only has Nick in the area at the moment, but they are starting to rotate from mid lane to help stop against this push.
And if you compare that to Infernal Shrines, at least in Bangbush's case, they had a draft that could play the game before level 10, while Oxygen's draft couldn't. But this time I think it's the other way around. This time, before level 10, Oxygen should be able to do whatever they want, and Bangbush are the ones that kind of have to respond. But no, instead they're ahead. They're now an entire level ahead. looks like they're trading boss for now, which is a bit odd, but the point I was going for is, if you look at the level 10s of Bangbush, they have 7-sided, they have Gust, APOC, they are now in control of every fight that we are going to see, whereas Oxygen they are going to have a hard time. The only real way of getting a fight is Arrow, but there will always be a Gust if the fight goes bad for Bangbush, but they're still in control. So yeah, the only thing Oxygen is going for them is that they're somehow 2 tributes up. So not all hope is lost.
Indeed, and not all hope is lost. Falstad cutting top wave right here, allowing the boss to simply just push uncontested. Blaze forced to use bunker in mid lane. Ixer getting caught out a bit. Will use the stim, trying to survive. Got that blue stim right there. Oh, hold on a second. Here's an Apocalypse combo from Lauber, landing onto multiple members of Oxygen. Swamp Grota immediately following the Apocalypse stun with the isolation and the tongue. Ixer dropping very, very low, trying to get on out of here, still getting chased by Henning, using the oil to buy themselves the time to escape, so only Copenhagen will be the only member of Oxygen to fall. Now Hans trying to clear out this top lane, but a well-executed fight by Bangbush.
And the Brightwing shift got interrupted by the APOC itself that was also used to secure the kill on the side. Well, only one kill on the Hogger. Kind of a blunder by the Brightwing. She should know that when APOC is used that you can't Z right away, resulting into the death of Hogger.
Yep, and Brightwing, normally, if you can be near the Apocalypse stun without getting hit by it, it can often set up a wonderful usage of that Soothing Mist, especially with a build so focused on using Soothing Mist, as what Brightwing has right here. So, but still a good APOC play right there from the members of Bangbush, who are now aggressing forward onto this objective, but hold on a second, there's the Dragon Arrow, only lands onto Diablo. Wrath of the Anguirus just absolutely deleting Bishops. Bishops will fall. Oxygen, the chase continues, this time landing the stun onto Lauber. It is still going on. Lauber trying to get on out of here will fall to the members of Oxygen Esports, who continue their push. Nick is going to look for another stab. The sidestep from Swamp is on point, though, avoiding making this a triple kill for Oxygen. But meanwhile, we see Hasuabs in the back picking up the objective channel on that curse, and now at this point Bangbush having to defend.
The entire fight started very badly for Bangbush. Diablo got engaged upon, and Skook felt the need to Gust, and because they didn't have Gust anymore, the Arrow and the Imperious flank, all of them like a huge threat that they didn't respect. However, they are going onto the HANZO. Right-wing shift goes through, miscommunication with the Gust and APOC.
Hans dropping very low. Han's gonna be A-okay, but indeed, as you pointed out, Dynouh, Apocalypse comes out and then everybody gets pushed out of it. You know they gotta be kicking themselves a bit after that one on the side of Bangbush. And now look at the ult cooldowns at the top of your screen. If a fight breaks out, Oxygen has every single ult available. It's clearly in their favor, but Dragon Arrow heading on over to NA after the miss. Wrath of the Anguirus gonna land out onto Dahaka, setting up the kill onto him. Lauber trying to escape. Nick is in range to land a spear, but oh, not after the boomerang slow from Skoog. Oxygen still off of that single kill, able to go for the invade on this bruiser camp.
And the arrow was small, but the schlong was massive, and then a 19 centimeter shockwave follow-up on top of it. Securing the kill on Dahaka. Now they also get the hard camp pushing in mid wall. Yeah, Oxygen is alive while they find the schlong onto the Sylvanas. See how it works out.
Bishops, I'm honestly kind of surprised. If I see a Sylvanas get speared and no interrupt or anything, I expect her to just get deleted. But no, Bishops after spear. Wait a second, here's Skoog with the fly. Only lands onto Rootsau, who is able to double blink heal out to safety. Just a second off of a much bigger Gust play, potentially. Not quite able to find it. Highly unfortunate. And the whole time that the members of Bangbush were looking for that, their mid-keep was taking damage from this bruiser camp. Now mid-keep dropping down to about 55% HP. Meanwhile, over here, the members of Oxygen starting their own bruiser camp. We see a similar play. Bangbush now starting their siege camp. Lauber actually hopped over this wall to get started to it quicker without having to rotate the entire way. Oxygen stepping up, looking for a potential pick on the rotation.
They were thinking about it, but they are paying too much respect to the vision point, plus DIABLO and the walls. Like in the jungle, DIABLO is obviously a threat. There are way too many walls. So instead they're just going to handshake and trading the boss again.
This time, each team is taking their own boss rather than the other team's boss at the moment. Bangbush taking their own, Oxygen taking their own. Oxygen, meanwhile, also has a bruiser camp pressuring mid, so one member of Bangbush will have to step over and clear this out. However, they do have multiple globals. It will be Swamp Grota on that global Dehaka, setting up to defend against it. However, what must be pointed out is that there is a whole fort to go through bot lane for this boss, but the same cannot be said for Oxygen's boss, pushing top lane here against the keep, and every member of Bangbush will head back for the defense, except for some Grota going in and getting the clear right here. And here we see Oxygen Esports now pushing in, both teams level 16.
Now, if you look at the heroes of Oxygen, I would believe the sieging power is kind of weak, unless they find a kill. But yeah, that was kind of the shot, trying to get a kill. They didn't find it, so I'm assuming they are going to retreat. Now, unless Bishops is going in, finds the silence on 4 people, but nothing really comes out of that. The bunker is in response. Okay, everyone's just pressing buttons randomly. Gust into a wall, the APOC kind of connects, the 7-sided, no real damage. Imperius might be the first one to fall, is so. And the Jack connects onto the Hogger. Blaze interrupted with the stun, but still Hogger falls, and Bangbush is still going to look for more kills and secures it onto Ixia, while the bottom boss is pushing.
Bottom boss does finally die, but only after amassing a gigantic wave in favor of Bangbush right here. Bangbush's wave now part of it doing damage to the structures, and of course Bangbush themselves looking to pick up the objective, which will bring them to 2 out of 3 going into this next objective. Going into Curse, they would love to pick that up in the late game. Lauber stepping up, not afraid to tank a few keep shots right here, as he now enables his team. Bishops using the black arrows, setting up this lane, and of course any damage that you get on this keep opens up a potential boss play
But
later. Another arrow miss, a spear miss, wait a second,
Wait,
yanked
what?
mid-gust! Wow!
But that was insane, what? Okay, I mean, Lauber's arms are like, I don't know, like, what's the name? Arnold
Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I mean, that's Lauber in this game right now. Pulls him through the massive gusts of wind into the 7-sided, perfect isolation. Can't believe it that this is what happened. I want to flame Bangbush a little bit. They got 3 kills earlier, but they didn't fly/dig onto the bottom right away while HANZO and Brightwing were still retreating. I think they, with the minion wave, could have just gotten the keep already. So they were a bit lazier on that. But yeah, I mean, then we wouldn't have been able to see the massive...
Yes, we wouldn't have been able to see Lauber doing his best Mr. Fantastic impression right there. Oh, and the wallbang coming out from Copenhagen. Lauber taking a lot of damage very, very quickly. Is able to get off the soul shield. Gust interrupts the phase shift from Brightwing, preventing her from healing her teammates. Ixer and Copenhagen both dropping down incredibly fast to start off this fight. Now Skoog looking for the channel on the objective. Oxygen will be cursed, forced to defend here. Not quite down level 20 just quite yet, but Bangbush with the advantage of 2 members of Oxygen dead. Very clearly looking to pressure out Hasuabs while taking this camp. Hold on, the point blank arrow is able to avoid the tongue, but it might not even be needed. Phase shift once again not going to be able to land in time, and all of a sudden the stagger on the HANZO is massive for Bangbush's chances.
Yeah, Bangbush are now looking to get at the core, and it's very hard to defend it. If you look at it, DIABLO, Karazim, they can just they can go on whoever they want. QE, Q, 7-sided, that's probably a kill. Imperius misses the Q, Hogger misses his own Q. However, Dehaka gets somewhat safe. The core already dying, wind tunnel is great. It's just game.
It's game. Bangbush taking the series 2-0 over Oxygen Esports right here in a very well-played series where they were in the driver's seat for a solid 80-90% of the time. Very well done. Honestly, I thought both games a bit of an outdraft right there. Definitely the absence of Bad Benny certainly being felt by Oxygen. The global pressure by Bangbush so absolutely huge, and of course, who can forget about the individual plays coming in right there. DIABLO just yanking him out of the air to get the kill onto Nick. Absolutely crazy.
That was just beautiful, that play. I want to further go into your point of both games somewhat being an outdraft. On Shrines, I fully agree. On this map, I would also agree. However, there is a layer of the early game hard inted by Oxygen. Like Brightwing got caught twice, Blaze not doing anything. Really, like they have the Brightwing global, so I mean obviously there's also 2 globals on the other side, but I'm pretty sure they are looking at, if they were to look at their own replay, they're like, okay, we did that wrong, we didn't play efficient there. There's like a lot of things they didn't play properly, and they fell 1 level behind after 2 minutes or 3.
When you allow the enemy team to pull off 3 successful ganks in a row at the very start of the game, you're always going to be just starting on the back foot, just not really able to get the way you wanted at the start. Very well done in pushing the advantage. Bangbush, definitely, I like you said, play diff absolutely, in addition to the draft diff. These games right here, Oxygen showing signs of life for portions of the game, but just Bangbush firmly in the driver's seat, firmly ahead right there, making those big plays. Very well done. And that, of course, was our last series of the day. Our very last game of the day is now completely over. Dynouh, thank you so much for casting with me here today. It was very fun, and it's very nice to get your perspective as a member on the highest rated Masters Clash team right here, and just as my fellow kindred spirit of Tracer players. Thank you so much for being here today, bud.
Yeah, thank you very much for the invitation, and it was fun. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely. If you ever want to come back, just let me know. All right, bud?
Yep.
Alrighty. Thank you so much again. This was a fun series. I think I'm just going to go ahead and send y'all over to Grubby, as I usually do. Let me just double check. He should be live based on the usual timeline. There it is right there. Let me see. So, oh, I forgot, CCL's on break. Usually I send y'all over to Grubby because CCL's going, but there's no CCL this weekend, right?
Yeah, it's on a break this time. Of some NA holiday?
Dynouh, if there's anybody you want me to raid that's live right now, you have total freedom to choose, if you so desire.
Unfortunately, I don't see anyone that's live. But I mean, there's HANZO, but he's going to stop.
Yeah, Hasu just finishing up his perspective right there. Yeah, I'm just gonna send y'all to Grubby anyway, just like usual. Do you think Sand was bagged this game? I mean, just as Dynouh and I said a moment ago, it feels like Oxygen, even if they didn't want to, kind of were sandbagging no matter what that game, with such crucial pieces of their team missing and 40% of their players missing. There's going to be some sandbagging no matter what. But all right, thank you again, friends. Go ahead and say hello to Grubby for me, and I'll see y'all later.